This video is sponsored by SimpliSafe. There's no safe like SimpliSafe. Hi everyone, it's Nick. Welcome back to my channel. Okay, in this video today, we're going to be talking about items that I would never put in my own home. This is interior design, home decor things that I just would never do. Now, I want to distinguish, this is not just about like things that I can't stand, although oftentimes I can't stand some of these items, but it's more about things that aren't necessarily bad, but things that I would never do. And that I think is an important distinction because these things can be even beautiful. They can be wonderful. They can be great for other people, and I would recommend them perhaps to other people. Some of them I don't, but some of them I do. And then there's things that just like I would never do. It just doesn't fit my style. It doesn't fit what I want. It doesn't fit my vibe, and that's just it. So if these are if you love these and you have them in your own home, fantastic. As I always say, do what you want. I don't care. I never go there. I don't go to your house. So you do whatever you want. But for me, these are things that I'm never gonna do in my own home. Let's get going. Okay, but before I talk about something that I would never do in my own home, I want to talk about something that I absolutely recommend to put in my own home and yours, which is a security system. Luckily, today's video is sponsored by SimpliSafe. SimpliSafe is a home security system that offers DIY alarm systems with professional monitoring. I've actually had SimpliSafe installed at my parents' house for about 2 or 3 years now, and they absolutely love it. Taking care of my parents as they age is a top priority, and knowing they have, because they fall for any scam, to be honest with you guys. So like, I don't trust them with any of their own security. So that's why I got SimpliSafe for them, because knowing that they have SimpliSafe gives me a lot of peace of mind and helps me sleep at night, and probably them too, but you know, more me. Their newest feature, which is SimpliSafe Active Guard, allows monitoring agents to see, speak to, and deter potential intruders in real time from entering your home. These cameras use AI technology to identify potential threats, alerting monitoring agents and triggering the spotlight and siren. This technology is available for both inside and outside the home, allowing protection before a break-in even happens. But don't worry, agents can only access your camera feed during an active alarm, and the smart alarm camera has a physical shutter that defaults to closing, so you have full control over that. I also love that you're not locked into any contracts with SimpliSafe. Once you've installed, you're all set to start using it, but if you want to pay for professional monitoring, you can just stick to a month-to-month plan, which is super convenient. So visit simplisafe.com/Nick to customize yours, and if you don't love it, of course, you can also return it for a full refund within 60 days. There's no safe like SimpliSafe. Thank you for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get back to some of the things that I personally wouldn't do in my own home. Okay, first up is going to have to be tile in the living room. This is something that I see a lot of people do and it works for them, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. I will say I get a lot of submissions to Roast My Space, which is where you guys send me your places, and then I go and I take a look at them and I like give recommendations, and we do it on the channel and we discuss and we all have a good time. So people send in those things, and sometimes it's very, very common actually for people to send in living rooms with tile flooring. And I know why people do it. I think some people are just stuck with it, to be honest, and I get that because it's just a really hard, sort of unfriendly surface that can be really difficult for people to work with, which is why I don't really love them. My recommendation to people is oftentimes if they really, really can't stand it, well, you're not gonna you can't change it, but you know, oftentimes people just use rugs to sort of cover them up because they don't really like them. But I find that although they do make sense for some people don't want hardwood, some people don't want carpet, and they look to tile as sort of the answer for a living area. I get it. But for me, personally, for my home, I'm never gonna do it. I find that I prefer my style, I want something really warm and comforting and natural in a living space, and that is always going to be engineered hardwood or hardwood for me. I'm sorry, it just is. I'm just never ever really going to choose a tile for a living area. I love tile. I think tile's great. Big fan, but I would say that the appropriate places for me to put tile would be the bathroom, would maybe be a kitchen, although I think you can also just extend the engineered hardwood to the kitchen, and that's wonderful, but you could put it there. Bathroom, of course, mudroom, laundry room, closets, right? These are great places to put tile. I don't think the living area for me is going to be the place that I'm going to put it. It doesn't mean that it's necessarily the biggest, you know, travesty for everybody else to do. That's fine. If people want to do it, that's wonderful. But I think that I'm just never going to put it in my own home. I'm always going to want something really warm and comforting, and I just love engineered hardwood, so I'm always going to choose that for a living area 99% of the time. Okay, next on my list is going to be choosing more than 3, I'm going to say, materials for my exterior of my home. First of all, a lot of people just like buy homes and obviously they have no control over what they're going to put on the exterior of their home, and you're sort of, if you're not building a brand new home, which most people are not, then you know, you're kind of stuck with what you got, and you got to be kind of careful because, you know, with what you're doing, most people just kind of get what they're given. For me though, I would never put more than 3 materials on my home, arguably 2. I just think that for me, I prefer something a little bit more contemporary, and I would like for my home to just reflect that and to have sort of minimal materials being used. I don't love it for me when homes have like 7 different materials. Like, you know what I mean? Like where there's like concrete over here, and then there's maybe some hardy board over here, and then some hardy panels over here, and then we've got different colored soffits, and then we have a different colored garage, and then we have a wood veneer on the pillars for some reason. Then we maybe have some brick, you know what I mean? I find all of that to be really superfluous, and I don't really love it. I just think that for my home, exterior, I would like it to be really simple. I like it to be really simple and unassuming, and not even plain, but just like, it just needs one or two, it just needs a couple of materials, you know what I mean? Like pick a wood siding or pick whatever you want for the side, and then, you know, you pick whatever you want for, you know, maybe some concrete or whatever, some wood, right? Choose whatever you're gonna do, and then just use that. You know what I mean? I don't think you necessarily need to use a whole bunch of different materials. Now for other people, depending on your style, right? If you prefer something that's a little bit more of a farmhouse style, or you prefer something of sort of like a craftsman style or something, like that may warrant different materials and different colors, and that can maybe be, you know, can be cute if that makes sense. If someone's got like an old Tudor home or something, it might make more sense for them to have different materials on there. But for me in my own home, I just can't stand it. I just want something with a couple of materials and that's it, case closed. So not saying everybody else is doing something wrong. I'm just saying that for me, that's something that I will make sure that I do for my new home. Okay, next on my list is gonna be concrete floors. So, okay, this one is a toughie, but actually not, because I think it's tough because I actually think these are beautiful. So concrete floors are stunning in photos. They look really, really great in other people's homes. I see lots of beautiful, beautiful photos of people. These architects, like they're interior designers, are designing beautiful places where you got like the architects love this, right? They got concrete floors, they got white walls, and they got oak cabinetry. That's like the architect special. You know what I mean? Like they just love it. Wishbone chair on the dining table, they just absolutely, that seems to be what they really enjoy, right? The architects love that look, which is great. And I think it's beautiful. I think it really is. I love the concrete floor look. I love these Japandi spaces, right? These Japanese sort of Zen spaces where you've got this concrete floors and you've got like the different, you know, woods, and you know, you got the oak or whatever, and then you got all that sort of beautiful stuff in there, and then you got these little paper rice pendants and blah, blah, blah. Like it look beautiful. And I'm all in. However, for me, it's just not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. I can admire it. I can think they look great in a coffee shop. I think they look great at a WeWork or where else would you find it? I don't know, like some sort of office space or something, you know, people love it, right? A garage, big fan there. Like garage, they make a home gym. These are all appropriate, in my opinion, places to actually put concrete floors. But for me, I would never do it. I just think that they're really cold and impersonal, and I just know the look and feel of the home that I would want to create for myself. And I just couldn't stand the fact that every day I'm gonna wake up and I put bare feet on concrete floors. I just think it's gonna be cold and rough and just really suck the life out of the place. For me, it's just not gonna feel warm and inviting, which is kind of the vibe that I'm gonna be wanting to try to create in my home. And I just don't feel like I'm doing that with concrete floors. It's just not for me. And I know some people are gonna be like, oh, we'll just put heated floors underneath. That's why all the floors are heated, blah, blah, blah. I'm not gonna choose like a cold and, you know, soul-sucking material on the floor and then turn around and just heat them up all the time so that I can actually, you know, comfortably use them and stand on them for 8 months out of the year. Do you know what I mean? Like that's not really what I'm there for. I think they look beautiful. I think for short term, they're wonderful. Love going into other places where they have concrete floors. I think that's beautiful. But for my own home, where I'm actually spending all my time and I'm gonna be there every day, it's not for me. Okay, next on my list is gonna be a Jack and Jill bathroom. I think that in my personal opinion, a Jack and Jill bathroom, TBH, is just probably means that there's poor space planning. But I put this on this list because some people will say that there is a situation where a Jack and Jill bathroom might be necessary. Again, I think we can just like retool the floor plan. But again, if you're like, take a place and you're like, you inherit a place already and you're renovating and it's just not possible to put a bathroom any other place, then if that's your lot in life, then I suppose it's a necessary evil. For me, I just hate Jack and Jill bathrooms more than the heat of 1,000 suns. So I'm not going to choose a Jack and Jill bathroom for my own home. Like if I go to visit a place and it's an open house and I walk in and there's a Jack and Jill, I'm turning around and walking out the door. Telling the realtor, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't even try to take me there, because I just can't stand them. Because there is nothing more anxiety inducing when you go to somebody's house and you walk in, you use the bathroom. Okay, cool. You go in, you shut the door, you go and you start doing your business and you realize there's a second door, or dare I even suggest a third door. And you're like, are those locked? I don't know. Where am I? Like, what's going on? I'm at a party, there's voices just on the other side of the door. What if someone were to open that second door? Where am I? I must I must relocate to a new city now because everybody I know is in this house right now and at this party. I must relocate. You know what I mean? Like these are my choices now in life. All of this because of a Jack and Jill bathroom. Do you see how it went existential? It's just not worth it. It's not worth it to question your existence and your place in society because you now live in fear that you're gonna be stuck in a Jack and Jill bathroom and someone's gonna walk in. I can't stand them. I think that don't put your guests through that. Don't put yourself through that. Life is so stressful, particularly right now. You do not need that stress in your life. So I hate Jack and Jill bathrooms. Again, does it make sense for other people? Sure, if you have no other choice, but not in my home. I'm not doing it. I wouldn't do it. So that for me is a red line. And it might not be for other people. It might not be for you, but it is for me. And I would never have a Jack and Jill in my own house. Okay, next on my list is gonna be fake marble porcelain. Ruffles and feathers. I'm sorry. Forgive me, this might be a little Marie Antoinette, let them have marble so I'm just gonna say that right from the beginning here because I think that I get the use case. Do you know what I mean? Like you want the look of marble, but you can't afford marble, or it's just too expensive, or it's too high maintenance, or it's too whatever. And so you're like, okay, well, there's really good fakes out there now. They come in honed, they come in polished, like I get it. The print looks really good. They're doing a much better job of making it so that you can't spot the difference of like where, because sometimes you walk in and someone's like done a whole renovation. Like I've been to a lobby where they just renovated for a whole lobby and I've been like, okay, that tile is the same as that tile is the same as that tile. You can tell they're the exact same because that's how the manufacturing works. They're just coming off an assembly line, especially the cheaper ones where they don't have that many differences and they all just kind of look the same. Or they actually are the same. They don't just look the same. They like literally are the same tile. So for me, I don't really like that, but they are getting better with some of that stuff. So there is a use case there. I totally get it. I just think for me, I'm not gonna do it. I think there are places where I'm gonna put marble. And that's fine, I'm just gonna go with a marble tile. Now, there are places, budget permitting, where I'm just not gonna have marble, and that's totally fine. But instead of faking the look of marble, because I can't afford it or whatever, I would rather just choose a different tile that isn't trying to necessarily be marble. So, this is mostly true for like the walls in a bathroom or, the flooring or whatever. I probably would rather just choose something that is just a tile that maybe could even mimic like a more subtle stone, like a limestone or perhaps, maybe I'm okay with that. Like there's ways that you can do it, that you can find stone that is not so graphic-y marbly. Like if it's something that's trying to fake like a Calcutta Viola marble, I would rather personally just choose the real thing or choose something completely different that isn't even faking marble, that is just authentically trying to be itself. And it's just like, hey, yeah, I'm a tile. I'm a tile. I'm not marble. I'm not trying to be. I'm not even faking it. I don't have the gray veining. Okay, I'm just here. I'm just here and I'm a tile. And I'm like, thank you. Thank you for just being yourself. I appreciate that. That is the tile that I want to select for my home. So yes, natural stone is wonderful and beautiful and like art for your home. And if you can afford it and you have the budget and you want to do it, then do it. But if you can't, for me, I would rather just choose something that doesn't look like marble. Just choose something completely different. But for other people, I understand it makes sense. If there's a use case where you're like, I want to do a bathroom, I really want the look, and I absolutely cannot get any marble, it's just completely outside of my budget, and I found these really cost-effective tiles, and no one will be able to tell, maybe some people might be able to tell, but hopefully they'll be able to tell, then I do understand the use case for it. It's just not something that I would ever do in my own home. Okay, and then next up on my list is going to have to be luxury vinyl plank, or I'm gonna say laminate, but we're gonna focus on the old LVP today. So I understand the use case for LVP. It's like waterproof. It's not even water resistant, it's like waterproof. And it's made of vinyl, but it looks pretty decently close to engineered hardwood. So you can oftentimes get it in the same like a 5-inch, or you can get like a 7-inch plank, whatever. And you can find that in LVP. You can also find that, of course, in engineered hardwood. And like, I understand that makes sense for other people. If you got kids or you got pets, or like, it just makes sense for people to have something that is gonna be a lot more durable and it's gonna last forever. Engineered hardwood is got a thin layer of a veneer of actual real hardwood. And for me, that's always gonna be my preference because I'm gonna want the real thing. I'm gonna want it to like have the look and feel of real wood. I wanna touch it. I wanna see all the little ridges. I would just want to make sure every plank is completely unique its own. I just love that. I love the variation in tone and texture and all that stuff that you get with hardwood. They're just not going to get for LVP. But I understand for other people and other places, LVP makes sense. I did a whole video on flooring like 7,000 years ago, explaining all the different types, and I talked about the benefits of different ones. And I think, I haven't seen the video since I filmed it. So like, I assume it's still valid. I mentioned probably, I think, the benefits of LVP, and there are really great benefits to it, right? It does make sense. It is waterproof. So if your dishwasher bursts or busts or whatever, whatever, and it leaks, then you know, you're good there. If you got like a 14-year-old dog and they pee on the floor, like you're fine. If you got an actual flood, well, if you have like an actual flood, it's oftentimes the water is gonna go under the LVP, like it goes in through the baseboards and you gotta get that water out somehow. So the LVP is coming up. So sometimes people really overstate the benefits of it, but like, yes, it's waterproof. It's great for something like a laundry room or, you know, a kid's room or something where people are spilling and blah, blah, blah. Like it makes sense for other people, but for my lifestyle, for my home, it's just not gonna happen. So it's not a bad thing. For other people, I get the use case, but it's never going to my home. Okay, that's it for me for today, guys. I hope you really enjoyed this video. I'm gonna link here to my video on top retailers that I would never shop at, because I feel like it's got the same thing. Like if you were interested in what I would do in my own home, maybe you'd be interested in retailers that I personally would never shop at. Not gonna lie, RH does make an appearance, so feel free to go check out that video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks, bye.